Hello Internet, today we're going to talk about motorcycling, road racing, street riding, performance bike riding, whatever you want to call it, and different literature that's out there. I have about 8 or 9 books here I wanted to share with you, and kind of my experience with them. When I first got into riding, I would just ride, and then I'd kind of hit a roadblock where I felt like my riding, I wasn't getting faster, I wasn't necessarily getting safer. So I started seeking out books and literature to kind of get better and see if I could read my way in, because I've always been really into learning in school. So I started picking up books. The first person that was, a lot of people told me was like, oh, check out A Twist of the Wrist by Keith Code. And I have to say that if I was to buy a book again, I would definitely start with the Keith Code books. He basically turned riding a motorcycle into a science. And he has great facts, everything from understanding steering on the motorcycle to understanding different turns, understanding getting on and off the throttle. Big time help. I think if I was to do it again, though, I might just get number 2, like skip 1 and just go straight to 2, because that's kind of his newer version of it. You can see here I bookmarked a couple pages I liked. And he also has DVDs for both. The Twist of the Wrist DVD for number 1 is hilarious because it was made like in the 80s. Super funny video, but you can get that DVD if you don't want to read the book. They also talk about eye stretching and other things in here that I found really useful. And then they actually made a new video for Twist of the Wrist 2, which was done in like the 2000s sometime, and you can get that DVD as well. And then he has The Soft Science of Road Racing. So this really gets into different types of turns, and I really like it because it really you get to talk to Wayne Rainey and kind of things he thought. So I use this a lot when I was actually going to track days and things like that, and I would find a lot of useful information in here. Especially I'd read like a chapter and then I'd go out on the racetrack, and then by doing that kind of reading and then trying, that's really where I made some of my biggest developments. So I brought this one out just because I thought it was hilarious. A friend of mine gave me this, the Canyon Racer's Pocket Guide. And I don't even know if they still make this thing, but this was one of the first books I was gifted to me, and it's just really interesting to see what they wrote back in the day. America's First Road Racing by Steve Baker. Yeah. I don't necessarily recommend buying this. I just want to show you this piece of history here. Next 2 books. This guy died. He's from the Bay Area. He had 2 books. He might have more, but Gary Jane, he's over near me in the Bay Area, and he wrote 2 books. You'll notice this book is all messed up because I used to keep it in the back seat of my street bike, and I would think that I would stop at cafes and read a book and learn about motorcycling. Look, I even have I have a cycle gear coupon in there with my bookmark. But he was really known for wet weather riding. And he also does a lot of specifics on suspension. So I felt it was really cheap at the time because he was a self-published type of guy. Like he sold the books himself. But I bought both of them from him, and I'm glad I did because I wonder if you can even still get these anymore. So this is really good for wet weather riding and suspension stuff. All right, last funny book is I keep the Yamaha book when I first started dirt riding, and there's actually like good information in here on turning and braking, and for example, like climbing a hill, like get off the seat and climb up a hill. I never knew to do that because I came from a street bike, and on a street bike, you don't necessarily get off the seat very often. So Yamaha coming through. So if I was to get only one book and start there, I would get this one. It's very popular on Amazon, Sport Riding Techniques. This kind of does a lot. This talks about a lot in one book. So if I was just going to get one book and really get into it, I'd get this one because it has beautiful pictures, like gorgeous pictures, and it's not too dense. The Keith Code stuff could get pretty dense. This stuff is a little easier to manage. And it's like I said, it's comprehensive. So you get kind of you get a good bookend here. You get a good start to finish, but it might not get into as many specifics as some of the other books do. Now I bought this one. At one point I was on a spree. I was like, I gotta own every single book for motorcycles. This is called Proficient Motorcycling. This guy kind of has a cheat code type of writing. He likes details and data, a lot of data. And the first chapter in this book is actually really interesting because it gives you like all the statistics. Like for example, like if you wear your leather and your protective gear, you're actually less likely statistically to get in an accident. It also talks about how you're most at risk of getting in an accident your first year on a motorcycle. So there's some really cool statistics and data in here. Also like how to avoid a dog and things like that. Things that you might have learned in the MFS school, or if you didn't take the MSF school, this is a good book to read to get that information. And it comes with a CD-ROM on the back, and I've never even opened it, so I have no idea what is also in that. It says it's 144 pages of bonus material. You can see this book's in really good condition because I really actually haven't cracked it open very much. And the last book, Total Control by Lee Parks. Great book, especially if you're going to go into road racing. He talks all about his road racing career. Some of the chapters I like are like the one on Zen. He talks about like being in the moment. I think that's really a great chapter. And then again, he talks about lines, does the whole steering thing. It's well illustrated, and he has a lot of good information. But like I said, the other books I really think are better value. If you consume those ones, I'd then move on to this one as well. The thing with these books is, some of them have a lot of the same content, but they're just written in a different way. So something might not resonate with you in one of the previous books, and then when you read Lee Parks, it's like, oh, that's what he's talking about. But I definitely think you need to supplement literature and then actual writing. So like read a few chapters, go writing, and then read it again. And every time I read it, just something else makes sense to me. So it's really not like a one-time read and you're gonna eat it all up. It's gonna be kind of this continual progress, and you'll learn a lot. I mean, I definitely could contribute a lot of my success in writing in that combination of actual practice as well as the theory behind it. Why am I doing it? And not only did it improve my confidence, but it improved my understanding of the sport, and it actually widened my horizon. It made me love it even more. The last book I have, I'm probably missing some. These are just the ones I was able to find. Suspension for Mortals. I forgot who recommended this to me, but somebody did. And I've always been intimidated by like shocks and forks and like setting preload and sag and all that stuff. So between Dave Moss and this guy, Max McAllister, you could do your own suspension. You could set your own sag. You could even give you like the worksheets on the back, a data log. Whoa, let's see that. Yeah, a data log. So you can actually like check your tire pressures and check your tire wear and make notes. And so you can actually start taking control of your riding and understanding how the different adjustments not only affect your tires but also affect your riding style. And when you get this advanced, when you get to this point, you really have full control of what's going on, and it's a great feeling to get to that point. So I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a lot of great literature out there. That's just some of the ones that I read that are worthy of purchasing. Like I said, Keith Code is kind of the golden standard to a lot of people. And then I was also looking through my folders here, and I noticed that when I did like American Super Camp and I did Keith Code, I actually did the school that he does, the Superbike school. They give you little pamphlets, brochures that have notes for you to write notes in, as well as had all the lessons you learned while you were there. And those, again, are another thing where the reason they give you that pamphlet is that so you read it and it reminds you each time you go riding of the skills you've practiced in the past. A couple other notable things to check out is Ken Hill has a podcast. Search Ken Hill Podcast. He's giving away a lot of great free information right now. Hopefully that stuff stays up online. And there's probably some more. If I missed something, comment below.